bitch our eyes like this.
No, it's okay if you do. You got their cats involved.
Okay, here we go. Ready, boys?
Uh-huh. Hell yeah. Ooh,
What's up, baby?
Right in this time, dude.
Yeah,
Perfect.
bro.
I like that you've come back and you've got them preloaded now. You're not beeping and bopping on the fly.
No. And I also realize you can just hit the stop button instead of just pushing down the fader every
It's
time.
nice to not watch you stress. It's been 2 months of figuring, all right, maybe he is working on something out in Vancouver.
No, not really.
All right.
But I remember I can hit a stop button now.
That's exciting.
My big regret from Vancouver is that I have not been looping any songs at all. And I got
At
a
all?
mixer now. No, shit. I did it once when I was in that old apartment where all the homeless people hung out outside. And now I just ain't done nothing. But this time when I go back to Vancouver, my big plan is I'm gonna do it.
Do you think we can figure out how to make it work remotely?
Remotely? No.
All right, well, that's
Don't
good
talk
enough.
crazy.
I'm excited that you're here because, you know what, dude? We had so much fun with our boy Adam last night. We got another damn guest
We got
on.
another guest.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. The big return of the podcast king, Dale Cheesman.
Dale
Friend of the
Cheesman.
pod, friend of the friends.
Friend of the friend. Yeah,
How are
dude.
we?
You transcend the pod. We're just friends.
I predate podcasting as a technology.
That's true.
Yeah.
Where did we first meet, Dale Cheesman?
The
Here?
ethereal plane.
Oh,
First
so
time we
yeah.
saw
and we'll
into
get
each
into
other.
why you're here in a second. But
That was 2 nights ago.
That was 2 nights. Yeah. Wait, where did y'all meet?
I don't know.
We met through you up here.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
Yeah, because Dale and I met at a festival in Houston like 7, 8 years ago. 6, 7 years ago. Hold on.
Either whatever
That's
or
all
come
right.
and take it.
It was whatever fest because that was the night that.
Did you
that-
say it was called Come and Take It?
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell
That's
yeah.
the name of a festival.
Hell yeah.
But I did whatever fest, and I remember having just the wildest weekend. And you were the constant. You were always around, just like, "Hey, man,
I got nowhere else to be.
I got nowhere else to go." I was like, "You and me, dude, for the rest of time."
They fucked up. I'm hosting 48 hours straight.
That
So-
was crazy. That was the same festival. There was a guy that tried to fight Dave Ross on stage. Do you remember that?
Every festival in Houston has ended in a fight at some point. And then Skankfest went down there and they made fighting just part of it. So
Oh yeah.
you've
Oh,
got to
yeah.
be more specific with the
Excuse me.
fighting Dave Ross. What did he do?
There was Dave was doing a set.
Because
and-
if I know Dave, he did some shit.
No, he was on stage and this guy was like yelling, and then one of the comics in Houston had to like pull the guy and like get him out of the show.
Yeah.
But it was a fun time. We had a fun festival. I ate a lot of tacos.
It was the best.
Great. Well,
Haven't
Dale,
been in years.
do you want to explain why you're here?
I'm here because for the last 2 years, I've been begging you to listen to a Phish show.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Because upon hearing it for maybe 15 minutes, your whole life changed, as I knew it would.
Yes.
So you finally went to your first Phish show. Michael,
Max,
too.
Max went to his first Phish show. I also went to this Phish show.
I went to my 6th show.
Right. We
Right.
all
which
met up before
I
it
don't
started.
want to, like, you know,
We're
have
not gonna screw the
stolen
pooch yet.
valor here. 6 concerts of this band is nothing.
Nothing. We understand,
Okay.
and we're not going to get there quite yet.
And I will say the two people I went with, one of them that was their 60th show, and the other
Damn.
one that was like their 50th show. It was a big moment. For
And I was
both of them.
I spent the majority of this concert hanging out with Justin Thompson, and I think this was his
Shout out to Justin
Shout out
Thompson.
to Justin. We'll get into more of this in a bit.
Yeah.
I just want to say right off the rip, I told this to Michael in MSG while I was on acid, and I believe this, and I truly mean it. If I am ever in a position of power, I will help Justin Thompson in any way that I can.
You kept saying that.
I owe
We
that
were
man
fuck-
my life. I really appreciate what he did. But it was his 12th Phish show. And I understand that 6 is
6.
it's not huge, but it's more than...
I met multiple people this run who were like in their 400s.
But that's
Yeah.
more than most people see most bands.
Of course, yeah.
Now-
People love certain bands. Like, oh man, I've seen them 3 times.
I know.
So this is
And
what
you're
we're
like-
here to talk about. We're here to talk about Phish, the
concert
way
we
Phish
went to.
concert works, the concert we went to, our experience of it.
Yes.
But also just, I mean, they give so much in their concerts. They're huge on live performance and jamming. You know what's so interesting? They sell out Madison Square Garden for nights and nights during New Year. If you go on their Spotify, 500,000 monthly listeners, which is very low.
We're going to get into this.
And it's because
yes,
there are specifics around Phish that we will get into. Yes.
And now, before we dive right into the deep blue sea and start swimming with Phish, we got to do our mandatory like and subscribe, please. God damn it. We finally have Michael back. These sound good again. This is exciting.
I think they sounded good when I was gone. I'm going to be honest.
It sounds better when you're here.
Even when I'm here and I'm doing this loop machine, I was like, do we really need the loop machine?
Shut the fuck up, dude. Eat your words, man.
You're right.
Stop that.
Sorry.
No. Okay. And it's just nice to have you here. Is that so wrong?
No.
It's been such an exciting week having you home.
Yeah, we've been hanging out a lot.
And it's been great. We've had a lot of laughs.
And it's all been music, too.
All been music, dude. So, like and subscribe to the podcast. Donate to our Patreon. $5 a month gets you 2 bonus episodes. $10 a month, you're going to get those 2 bonus episodes. You're going to get playlists from us. We're going to start doing sets from last night again. And we've got merch on the way because Phish really revolutionized how we're going to approach this podcast.
Yeah.
All that money is going towards tickets to see them in Washington.
They don't need to know where the money goes. All right,
it's research. It goes back into the show.
That's right. This is all tax deductible. But so what? And we're the only podcast. Dale, have you ever listened to the podcast? It's okay if you say no.
No, I've listened to as many episodes as Phish concerts I've been to.
6 episodes.
Hey, that's a good entry.
6 episodes. How do you think we can improve?
You've already done it. You've brought me on the show.
Hell yeah.
I'm here to fix
yes,
it.
Good answer.
Well, something
that's what
fun.
I was hoping he'd say.
I'm Mr. Wolf, you know?
I'll take it. Wolfenstein,
so
me,
pretty
brother.
pleased with sugar on top. Shut the fuck up.
That's right. So now something that we do every time just to excite the listeners and get them motivated to like and subscribe, to give us money. We give them a jam.
That's no one else gives their listeners a jam, an incentive during the like and subscribe process.
Exactly, man. We're
they just
asking
point
a lot.
and wait.
Right. We don't even point. We're asking a lot, and so we want to make sure that people are entertained when they have the opportunity to like and subscribe. Go on iTunes, give us 5 stars, tell us we're handsome. While you're doing this, get in our Discord. We'd love to chit-chat with you. Michael, do you have a little bop to take them to?
I got a bop. Dale,
Let's
we're gonna unleash your bop a little later.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Ready.
It's you.
Grilled cheese sandwiches.
Grilled cheese sandwiches. Yeah. Okay. I got a grilled cheese. I named him Tony, and I made him out of craft singles that I want to see. I love you, my grilled cheese. Dip you in tomato soup. Put you in my mouth down the pool. Yeah, it's gonna be smooth. I love grilled cheese. When I was a boy, I used to butter up a pan around 8 years old. It's the first day that I learned to make on my own, cause my parents didn't want to cook food no more. And I had to wash my own clothes all around 8 years old. I made grilled cheese and tomato soup, and I dip it in there, then I go poop. But I still had a diaper. Yeah, that's right. Now 8 years old, make my own food, and I made my own laundry. Go cold the cold wash, cause I was using dark clothes in the cold wash, but I needed diapers to poop. So if I take a gum, there's somebody don't question.
Hell yeah.
He's getting it, dude.
Welcome.
Hey, Mikey, he likes it. So, at this point, you should be all liked and subscribed, and there should be $5 in our bank accounts that wasn't there a few seconds ago.
Yep.
So, let's bring everybody into the world that we entered on Thursday evening. Michael and I had never seen Phish.
Right. I had been invited by 2 friends. Shout out to PJ and Stacy.
Thank you,
I
PJ.
used to
Thank
make
you,
candles
Stacy.
in PJ's basement. And when I lived in Atlanta, that was one of my jobs.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't very good, but they were always very kind to me. Now, they had always wanted me to come to a Phish show with them at Madison Square Garden because Phish does Madison Square Garden for like 4 nights around New Year's. They've had the New Year's slot at Madison Square Garden for years.
How long, Dale, do you know?
It's been broken up with some other big shows, but it's been pretty consistent since the 90s.
Which is insane. That's 2 decades
Crazy.
of Phish, and that's how committed
They hold
this
the
fan
record
base is.
for most times played at Madison
At
Square Garden.
MSG.
More than Billy Joel?
More than the Knicks.
Oh
No,
my
just
god!
kidding.
I was like, what? I will believe, because here's the thing you don't understand. You're one of my best friends, so you do know this. I will believe anything you tell me. So please be gentle.
No.
No, man, that ain't fun.
So Billy Joel was kicked out of
Dale's
Phish.
one of the most naturally funny,
The funniest.
dude, in conversation.
Take our word for it. Don't listen to the rest of the show.
Yeah.
No,
Just get out.
no, Dale. You know what? So we are a podcast about music, friendship, and staying positive. And it's important. We gas everybody up. If they come on the pod, we gas them up.
But I am just being truthful.
Yeah, you are truly one of the funniest people to talk to. Like, nobody makes
We
me laugh.
usually
in
lie to our
conversation.
guests, but this one
No,
time.
I'm not saying gas up. We're building you up. Because
I appreciate it.
that's
I
what
can't
is.
accept compliments like this, so I will deflect them with everything I have.
Fine. But we're happy to have you because
There's a reason y'all are over there and I'm over here.
All right.
Okay, now listen,
So
boys.
tell me, how many times have...
Wait.
All
We're
right.
telling the story of getting to Phish in Madison Square Garden.
Right. So 20 years they've been doing this.
Right.
And I can't believe they've done more than Billy Joel. I will take it a task on this. But how many have you gone to now? This is your
6th.
New Year's shows.
New Year's, this is my 3rd, technically.
Hell yeah.
Second one actually on New Year's because they had to postpone one for COVID.
Right.
Yep, which happened
So we did
around
it in April.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, I was supposed to go to that one. I just couldn't make it. So this is 2 years in the making.
Yes.
I'm like, all right, we're going to do it. And then I think when you go to Phish, you're supposed to do drugs. And I'm not smoking weed. And I'm like, psychedelics. I guess we're going to do psychedelics. You know?
it's
Not a lot.
It's funny you say that you're supposed to do drugs because I guess we'll touch on this. I want you to bring up the story about you going to your first show at MSG in that section. That made me laugh so fucking hard. Did you know not everybody does drugs at
Yeah,
Phish
I
shows?
learned that, and I learned you don't need to.
Yeah.
You definitely don't need to.
Right.
And I felt a little bad because I showed up with my 2 friends, and as we both did a tab, and then
I did half. I didn't
know.
even do a full.
I did a full, and I got there, and I was like, I'm not okay. I met my friends. I was like, hey, sorry I'm acting a little weird. I did this thing, and I felt like I perverted the night a little bit just because they were like
Really?
there to have fun. I was just like, oh man, I built this up in my head as something I had to do, and I did not have to do this. And I remember meeting y'all before the show and being like, I don't think it's gonna go good for me.
Well, we were learning about y'all's like seating situation, how y'all are set up, and we were doubtful about that because it's true you should do drugs at the show because it's what drugs are for.
Yeah.
But y'all were tripping together but separately at Madison Square Garden.
Max got his ticket at the last minute from
Justin
Justin. He was
Thompson.
like, I'm going to go with Justin.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, you should. And so, yes, we both did it, and then we separated.
So I'll tell you my experience. So, and this is a fun bond that we all show. We all got the same acid. We all did. All 3 of us did the same acid. So I get off the train because you took yours before you left your apartment, right?
Which, again, mistake.
Mistake.
I made
Very
many
early,
mistakes.
very
So
early.
I waited until we got to MSG. You gave me the acid, and I was like,
Can we stop saying acid so much? Because for some reason, it makes me nervous. Let's say tabs.
It's very incriminating, that word.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we're doing tabs, and you come up and you're like, "Hey, man, here's yours." And I was like, "I'm gonna start with a half because I know me. If I in my head, I was like, if things start to spiral out, I do not want to be on a full tab of a tab in Madison Square Garden.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm gonna do a half. I take the half. We start walking in. We smoked a little bit of pot.
I didn't.
You didn't smoke?
No,
any?
I did not. I did not. Because I knew it was just going to make me worse.
So I start smoking a joint, and Justin's like, "Why are you smoking that out here?" I was like, "Well, we're not going to be able to do it in here." He's like, "Dude, you can totally smoke weed in Madison Square Garden during Phish." I was like, "Excuse?" Because the only time I've gone is for Knicks games, and no one's smoking pot at Knicks games openly.
Right.
That's not something you do. So I'm just like, all right, fine. Let's see what happens. We get inside. We're hanging. And the tab starts to kind of make its way into my brain. Like, hey, just letting you know, I'm giving you a little sneak peek as to what's going to happen. A lot of people around. Are you sure you're going to be able to handle this?
Yeah.
And I was like, of course. I've done this a million times. I'm an adult. I used to do Acid Saturday. I can handle my shit. We meet up with you. We meet up with your wife, Katie. It's you, me, Justin. We're hanging out. We're having a good laugh.
And I'm letting you guys know I'm nervous, and you guys are like, "You're good, baby. You're good."
But that was the thing.
You were making me feel better, man.
Everybody
You're
was.
great.
I think that's what I took out of Phish shows is everybody wants you to have a good time there.
Mm-hmm.
The audience wants you to have a good time. The band wants you to have a good time. The security.
My friends that I was with were the same way. They weren't judging me. They're like, all right, yeah.
Of course
that's
not.
what you do. Come on.
Of course. So you go up, you're on the Sky Bridge.
Yeah, which is cool. So I have a ton of space. I'm not surrounded by people. I have nothing but space behind me. They're basically box seats that they didn't treat as box seats.
Right.
You just have a seat on the top row so you can sort of survey the whole thing. And it's comfortable. You can dance. You can move.
Yes.
I have the shitty seats behind that.
Oh, really?
So our view is of the stage, and then right above the stage is the Sky Bridge.
That's what I was
where we
seeing.
see nothing but people like full on spinning in a 10-foot radius while we're shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
My friends are all 10-foot radius spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous because Dale and I were hanging out with the peasants.
Mm-hmm.
We were because I think you were where I was on the other side of the arena,
opposite
right?
end,
So
under the bridge.
Yes, we can't see the lights. We can't see. Could you see the lights?
Could you see the screens that are behind the Sky Bridge?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're all the way. I didn't know Madison Square Garden had screens.
Yeah.
Dude,
like that.
I
It's
didn't
just
see
for
any
those
screens.
seats.
But you know what's great? When you go to see a basketball game, the screens are on, and if you're sitting a little lower down, they have screens in front of you.
I always feel gypped if I've come to a place to watch something live and they're like, well, your view's not that good, so we've
That's how I feel too.
You can
You
watch
get your
TV.
own TV.
You can watch TV.
That's
You wanna
how
do that?
because at Madison Square Garden during a basketball game, there are no bad seats. There
Yeah.
just aren't. The way it's set up, you can see down. It's easy. But for this, you really want to see from like.
You want to see what's going on the ceiling.
Yes, dude.
You know,
because
the lights.
I miss the lights.
That's the fifth member of the band is the lights.
That's right. So we're hanging out, but separately. You're starting to peak. I'm in and I'm feeling good. And Justin, I felt bad because this was my first Phish show. Justin's seen them a ton of times. We're both on tabs. And I'm like kind of getting into it. I'm doing this. I've developed my Phish move. This is my move when I'm seeing Phish. I go with my arm. And I'm looking at Justin like, this is the coolest. It was a lot like
Just
when
send
you and
it.
I went and saw Less Than Jake. I looked at Justin and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And he wasn't that excited about it. And I got really self-conscious. I was like, am I fucking lying to myself and my friends about liking this? No, I really like it. And that's when things started to spiral.
But the text you sent me during that time, you said, okay, wow.
Yeah.
I said, okay, wow. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. Meanwhile, I'm up there and I'm not freaking out because of all the people. I'm just like, I'm realizing I wasn't that happy. I'm not that happy. Like I feel like I've been a little bit in a depression session for a week or two. I don't know.
Because you're being presented with pure joy all around you.
Yeah. And you're like,
if you're not like, why am I not that already?
Right.
yeah, you're
I
just
have
like,
to work into
oh
that.
wow, it's easy to spin out and be like, okay, yeah, I have to make some changes
Those
to my
people,
life.
I should have braced y'all for this. These people they've gone to hundreds of shows. They can tap into this energy immediately.
Yes.
At the beginning of every show, I'm still like, oh, what if they don't give it their all this time?
Yeah.
And every time by like song 2, I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
of course they're going to give it their all.
So, we're sitting there, and we're up in the high seats where it's so probably like what you were seeing, where it's a bunch of people that are there and they're excited, but they're not the diehard. They're not like we've got lots of money to spend to go hang out in the pit and whatever. These are just normal people that are kind of anxious and ready for it to get started. The guy next to us, I kept hearing him. He was alone. He kept going, can't wait to smoke a fucking joint, man. I just want to smoke a fucking joint. Like, he kept saying
Like
this.
Madison Square Garden's the only place he can
Dude,
smoke.
That's what it felt like. And then as soon as the lights go down, I see 3,000 people light joints in Madison Square
How
Garden.
cool is that?
And let's also establish it would be the people that are paying for seats, good seats,
Yes.
are Phish fans. They're people that are intelligent. They can appreciate good, intricate music. The people that can't, there's a good amount of people that can't afford great seats that are just a terrifying. Is this fucked up to say?
No, but it's
Just
funny
a
because
scary bunch.
But here's the thing. Dale, will you explain how you have to get tickets to this concert?
So this concert sells out every year, guaranteed. So Phish does a lottery through their own website. Yeah, go for it.
No, not yet. All right.
They do a lottery through their own website. So in August, I think this year, I signed up and I said, I want 2 seats somewhere in the stadium. You can't select anywhere. You can't do premium seats.
Really? That's how it works.
Every seat is the exact same price.
Yeah.
If you get that lottery, you're assigned a seat randomly. Most people don't win the lottery. Like, I've hit it twice, and my cousin, who's a huge fan, freaked out. She's like, you must be the luckiest person ever.
Yeah.
And both times I've had shitty behind. Not shitty, I'll take that back. There are no bad seats at a Phish show. But I am behind.
I disagree.
I am behind the
You're
lights.
indoctrinated, bro.
I love it. I love it so much. But I've hit, and so I'm like, I'm lucky to just be there. I'm not giving up these seats. But you're just assigned randomly. So like this year I was in the 400s, the highest level, behind the stage, so I don't get to see any of the lights dead on. And I was like, thank God I'm here. Because if I had to pay for this right before the show, I would have gotten taken, because I would have been in the pit and being like, $800 isn't that bad for this.
I don't think I could handle the pit, to be totally honest.
I've never been, and I
don't
6
think
shows.
I want to.
I do.
I think that something that I got really self-conscious, and we'll talk about it, because my experience really did not go well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I was less self-conscious and I was like, I can just sit down for a few minutes, I would. Because Katie, Dale's wife, was explaining this to me, and she really like said something to me that really registered and clicked. Where I was like, oh, I should have just taken a seat for 10 minutes. Because she was like, Phish knows that everybody at their shows is on drugs and on acid or on tabs. And their whole like MO is like, we're going to build an experience around that. So they take you to some shitty places for about 5 minutes, and they're like, if you just wait, it's about to come right back to it. Yeah. And I didn't understand that.
They need to pique your tension.
Yeah.
And they do such a good job at it.
It's insane.
So, all right. So we're there. You're on the Sky Bridge. Lights go down. Joints go off. Now, what's exciting about this, and this is where I'm going to start smoking pot.
Okay.
Now, one of the other cool things that Phish does that I think is brilliant, I think this is one of the coolest things that any band has ever done. Their app is so fucking rad. When you go and see their concert, if you type in the ticket code, you get to keep that concert forever.
My app's not working. I try to type in my ticket code and it won't work.
We'll troubleshoot later.
Okay.
I'll show you how to do it. There's a trick.
All right.
But one of the cool things is you can like relive these concerts. And it's amazing because I only made it through the first 2 songs of the first set, but I've listened to this so many times. Lights go down. They come in with Fluffhead. I'm totally fish-pilled, by the way, both of y'all. This song kicks so much ass.
Did you say fish-pilled?
Yes.
Wow.
You might want to skip just a bit. Now this comes on. Everybody starts smoking. Oh, you can't hear.
No, but it's cool.
And this is a rare opener, one of their bigger songs.
That's what you were telling me.
Rare opener set for them. But I got a text immediately when the show started from 3 people being like, Fluffhead opener? None of them at the show.
Yeah.
But they're following it from around the world, being like, I can't believe you're listening to Fluffhead right now.
Well, what's so sick is like they live stream the first song from every set as it's happening.
Yeah.
And you can just see that for free. Michael and I used to live with like a house full of Phish heads, and what are y'all called?
Fans with a PH.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But I really didn't get it. I didn't understand like the like desire to want to watch a concert live.
It's the only
like
band where you're like, I love this band. I would love for you to listen to it. And you're like, what song? And you're like, oh no, you can't just listen to it.
Yeah.
I have to take you.
Well, beyond that, like I've been watching concerts now. I've been watching them do the live streams. Like this is incredible. But they start playing this and everybody's kind of like in, and then I know exactly where my tab started to kick.
Yeah, so everyone, the moment this song started, you see just 100,000 people immediately absorbed into this attitude that people have at Phish shows that takes work to get into.
Yeah, but
it happens instantaneously.
It is. Everybody is fucking up. They're moving. And they are moving exactly how their bodies want to move.
Think about how many concerts you've been to where you literally just stand there and nod your head like, this is so good. Phish, you have to like be kicking your legs in the air, throwing your elbows,
throwing your arms everywhere.
It's funny you say that because where I was, like my seats, like people were doing very like passionate moves
with no room.
With no room, dude.
Yeah.
And they would like plant their feet, and it's just like we're gonna kind of shake and we're gonna twist, and everybody's in on it, and everybody's cool about it, and we were having such a fucking good time. Like all of a sudden, like I texted both of you. I said, "Okay, wow" to you. I think I texted you like, I get it now. Immediately. It was so quick how it happened.
That's all it takes. You see the lights, they come out, they hit you hard immediately, and you're like, everyone in here who was skeptical, they're brought in. And now we got to push them over the edge.
Well, I didn't get to see the lights. That's a real fucking regret that I have, is that I didn't get to see the lights the way that they're supposed to be seen. Because after Fluffhead plays, they go into Your Pet Cat.
Right, which I had never. This is one of the songs. I've been to 6 shows. Half of the shows are new songs to me, and I've listened to nothing but Phish for the last 2 years while I work. So Your Pet Cat, had never heard it. It creeped us the hell out.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
There's live audio of a cat, in distress, just
freaking out.
And you're like, there's something visceral. I'm tripping a bit.
So this is where my night took a very severe turn. This is the moment. Because Fluffhead, I remember being like, I don't know what the fuck I'm hearing right now, but it's amazing. And from that high up, looking down at the pit, you just see the reflection of the lights. You don't see the actual show that they're putting on. And I just see that light reflecting on the pit, and it looked like a big, scaly fish, like just moving around. And that freaked me out, but I was like, I'm okay.
Yeah, their light system is just like a transformer type robot.
It's insane.
It has so much range. And
Could you see the lights, Michael?
Oh, yeah. It was cool. I was way up, so I could actually survey the whole show, and I could actually sort of, instead of being absorbed by the lights like you would be if you were sort of front row center or in the pit, you can actually just sort of appreciate how the whole mechanism works and works together.
Yeah.
And it's fucking cool.
Sitting behind it for New Year's, I was just watching the inner workings of the machine, and it's still crazy. And you see the lights and their effect on people, and you're like, oh, I can still see all of this and appreciate it. Then you get home and you look at Instagram and see the people from the other side, and you're like, fuck.
That's how I felt watching the live stream. Well, even throughout the show. So, Your Pet Cat comes on, and this is where I really, also just a quick regression. This is just, I wanted to call Dale the entire time. I didn't want to harsh his vibe because I knew that this was a big night for him. I had an experience that I watched Dale have a year and a half ago, 2 years. I don't remember when that was. Right. Have I told you about this?
Oh, yeah, the Less Than Jake.
Yeah. So, that was... You start telling the story, and then I'll tell you why I feel horrible about Thursday.
This is why I didn't. So I know exactly what you're going to say. Because I watched Katie say we're going back to your seats, and I watched you be like, I feel like I owe it to him to make sure he's okay. But I was like,
Justin, you got? He's like, yeah, I think I'm peace.
That's when I was like, me and Max, we go together.
Well, Dale. So Dale
I
and
owe
I.
him my life.
So Dale and I go to see Less Than Jake, and we took mushrooms, and we took. Basically, we get through security and we start freaking out. We're like, oh, they're going to find our mushrooms. Let's just eat all of them now.
Right. We had reserved ones for later, for another time.
Yeah.
Because they were a special kind that were huge.
And
comically, like, if a Looney Tune was going to do mushrooms on camera, this is what they would look like.
Yes. They were, like, exaggerated and huge. Anyways, we eat them all. We're at the rooftop. Well, we get on a boat. We get on the ferry to go to Pier 34, whatever it is, down at South Street Seaport, and we're on the boat, and we just hear screamo music coming from the roof, and we're like,
Jesus.
This is embarrassing.
We didn't show up for the openers. It's an outdoor thing. We're walking up. There's outdoor restaurants, and everyone just HD quality. You can hear a 40-year-old man being like, "You broke my heart, and I'll never forget you, Jessica." And we're like, "Oh my God, please don't watch us walk in."
We're just because we'd taken just enough to start feeling good, and then we get to security. We freak out. We probably ate just under a half ounce of mushrooms each. The strongest.
That's horrifying.
Oh,
that's the scariest thing I've
This is going to be a long episode.
Bad decision. But we were there to see Less Than Jake and all.
I don't even remember who the other band. Newfound Glory.
Newfound Glory.
Oh my God, that's not. Though you don't take mushroom to see.
Well, we did.
We did.
And so we get up to the roof, and my thought process is, I was like, we just ate a fuckload of mushrooms. We need to get waters now because we're not going to be able to in a bit. And this is why I wish I had taken a seat at Phish. So we get the waters, we get back to the area, and it was not a crowded concert when we saw Less Than Jake. It was pretty open, and we're hanging. They go into a song. I look at Dale. I'll never forget this as long as I live. I say, holy shit, this fucking rocks. Dale goes, I don't feel so good. and my brain immediately switches to survival mode. I was like, don't worry about it, dude. We're going to get you to a bathroom. If you got to puke, we'll do that. And then I just...
It all would have been great, but...
But we didn't make it because I looked at Dale. I watched the eyes roll back to his head.
Truly.
And then I watched him fall over, and I heard the most hollow, clearly a skull hitting concrete sound I have ever heard in my life.
All I remember was saying I don't feel good.
This is a horror story.
It was the worst.
You went catatonic?
Dude.
Passed out.
He passes. I heard and felt in my shoes the
my God.
the back of Dale. Can we talk about this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, the back of Dale's head.
What happened? Okay, I want to walk through the moments of what I was watching. I was feeling the drugs kick in, and then Less Than Jake, the band I was there to see, comes running out, and
well, they trotted. They were old.
They were old, but they come out. There's Less Than Jake's bassist. He's famous for having like really long white guy dreadlocks. But now he's like 50 and balding, so he only has one left.
Horrifying.
And it's barely
Horrifying.
hanging on.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he's like, "Hey guys, we're here to party." And it's like a little bit. And then this guy steps in. This guy steps in front of me wearing like these big, thick wristbands that I used to wear in middle school when I listened to Less Than Jake, and his hair in a mohawk like I wish I had had when I listened to Less Than Jake.
Yeah, when you were in middle school.
And he was like 40 years old. I'm like, look at this 40-year-old. That's only like 6 years older than me. Oh my God. So I just got I cringed until I passed out.
Oh my God.
I got so embarrassed to be there.
And as soon as Dale fell over is when my trip really started to kick in. So I immediately bend down to try and get him. Out of nowhere, a security guard is there, picks him up. We're carrying Dale to the medical booth, and I'm starting to freak out. I'm like, oh shit!
Y'all are holding me like Weekend at Bernie's style between you.
Could you see?
Y'all start running. I wake up during that, and y'all are running, carrying me, and then I start running with y'all. Like, where are we going?
Oh my God!
Dude, but for like 5 seconds of it, Dale was. I really thought that you were dead. Like, I'm not exaggerating.
No, I'm sure you did.
I was. So we get.
It's not a.
But then
It's not a great story. I'm laughing
but
through
then,
the pain.
but then you open your eyes. We're sitting down at the medical tent. I'm freaking out. Just like I can't look at things. I don't know how phones work. I look up at the doctor, or whoever, the medic, and his face is becoming a triangle. And he's like, "Are you guys okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine, man. I don't know what happened to my friend, but I'm, whatever." You open your eyes. You look at me, and you say, "Don't tell Katie." And then you didn't say a word for like 15 minutes.
I was just trying to, because the EMT was over there, and I didn't look at him directly, so I was only looking at him through the corner of my eye, and through the corner of my eye, he looked like the chief of detectives.
Yeah. Oh,
and he was waiting for me to be okay enough to come.
I was
the medical guys checking me for like concussion stuff and saying stuff like, "Don't worry about it, we'll get you fixed up, then you can get back in there." And I was just like, dude, I'm not even supposed to be here.
You said I'm not even supposed to be here, and I was like, you know what, man? We didn't even really want to come to this concert.
We've been talking about it for months.
Legitimately, could not have been more excited. But I was like, this is fine. You know what? I think kind of been a weird experience, and I'm just trying to maintain composure. I know at this point I have roughly 5 minutes and 32 seconds to get the fuck out of this venue.
Yeah, because you thought what happened to me was coming.
I thought I was next.
You just hadn't hit it yet.
Yeah, so we get out of there. They finally let us go. The guy also said, like, the masks won't help you. And we're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? He's like, I know what's going on. He keeps winking at us. I was like, you have to stop talking to me, man. We have to leave. We finally get out. You're starting to fade back out of reality. And I'm like, oh, shit, I have to get us somewhere. And I'm famously bad at stuff like this.
You got us in a cab immediately to a house.
So I call up John Rosenberger, friend of the pod. I call up John. I'm like, hey, man, we're on a bad mushroom trip. It's going south. Dale can't talk. Can we come over? I call a car. I get there. I don't know how I gave him the address, but I remember looking out into the East River, and it was on fire, in flames. And I just looked at you, and you're passing out, like kind of like doing this. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm just...
Dale, I don't have time for this. The river's on fire.
I was like, no, you don't know. That's not what it was. I was like, well, shit, it's really going to stress him out if I tell him the river's on fire. And then John, we watched Joe Pera Talks with you for a couple hours. We chilled out. We had a great time. I even looked at everybody and I was like, you know what? We're in a good enough place where if I died right now, it'd be okay. And you're both like, what the fuck are you talking about? But anyways, I knew that Dale would understand when I told him my acid trip at Phish had taken a turn.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man. Yeah, we've been there. And you were walking around. I was like, are you about to pass out? Because remember.
I thought that's all I could think about. So
I didn't want to bring that up.
Right. So your pet cat comes on, the cat screech happens, and it triggered something in me where I remembered I had to call the vet in the morning for my cat, Philly. And that got me into, well, I have to do that. Well, what are some other tasks that I need to take care of this week? I got so stressed out.
I was thinking about tasks as well.
The whole time. I'm just, and then.
That's why, well, you called me and you're like, I'm having a bad time. And that made me feel a little better where I was like, okay.
Dude, when you told me
I'm not having as bad a time, I guess.
So I start to freak out.
We talked on the phone.
So first
I thought you were going to leave, and I was like, he'll be fine.
I tried to leave, but so I look at Justin. I'm like, hey, man, I'm having a bad time. And he goes, really? And I was like, yeah, man, this is great. Like, I love it. I get it. But I'm the tab is hitting. Mm-hmm. And he was like, are you okay? I was like, can you help me? And thank God for Justin Thompson. He shepherded me through, and I'm looking at all these people as I'm leaving the steps, like, they know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
No one is like, oh, I hope he's, I wonder what happened to him. They're like, oh, his acid trip is taking a turn for the worst. And we go out, and then we walked for a while, and I, had to hold on to a wall, just like, okay, am I all right? Am I existing here? Am I okay? And the whole time, I can still hear Phish, dude.
Yeah.
And they're kicking ass, man. I am losing my mind. Justin showed me a hack of bringing a water bottle to MSG. Huge move. I'm never not doing that again. I'm chugging water, hearing fucking grooves, dude. And I'm just like, I don't know if my body's real. I don't know if my hands are still attached to my wrists. But this shit rocks, dude.
Yeah.
And you just we walked around MSG. My girlfriend, I had shared my location with her. I was like, just in case anything happens. She says she watched me walk around the garden 12 times on location. And she was like, I don't want to bother him because I know he's on acid, but he's going a lot of places.
Should be staying still for most of this.
So I call you.
Yep.
And I'm like, shit's not going well. I'm in that escalator plaza, and I'm holding onto a pillar just like, hey, man, I don't think I'm going to I think I got to leave.
Yeah.
I think I got to leave. And I start going to an escalator, and Justin's like, are you okay? I was like, I'm okay. I go down the escalator, and I'm like, fuck. Okay, once I get out of this building, I'm just in New York City. Mm-hmm. And that's terrifying. The only thing that kept me grounded was the constant remembrance of, if something bad happens to me while I'm on acid, I am undoubtedly in the safest place in the country right now for that to happen. This is the medics are built for that to happen.
That's all they've been training for.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about this, realizing I've just gone down and up the same escalator 12 times. And I'm like, oh, I'm not leaving this fucking place. And then Justin and I walked around the garden for literally 2 hours, the entirety of the first set.
Missed it. An hour and a half. Missed it. And then we met up at halftime or
halftime.
And I wasn't having a great time, but I was like, I'm okay. I was just sitting with my thoughts. You ever have?
I remember you were like, no, it's really good. I've been thinking a lot about mortality.
Yeah. You texted me that, and I was immediately like, fucking okay.
Yeah.
And just to kind of paint that picture, can you play us another song from that first set?
Yeah. We'll jump into
and tell us a little bit about where we're at with this.
This is the closer for Blaze On. It's the end of the first set. So we'll just jump towards about 3/4 through.
And this is a really positive song. This one really kind of kicks you back out of it.
Yeah, it's telling you to party on, be yourself.
We're going to take a break, but we're going to leave you on a high, and we'll see you in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, when you said you were really thinking about your life and how you got to just get shit right and do better, I was like, that's exactly how I was feeling. But I was with Justin, who I really had not hung out with in 8 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how to communicate this with him and also explain hey man, this is fucking crazy, right?
Yeah. He's just there to have a good time. He knows what it is.
He told me at one point, he's like, yeah, man, we walked by and we looked in for a second, you see the lights and you hear the music. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, man, it's like being on a spaceship. And I was like, oh. And that just contextualized it for me, where I was like.
Yeah, and then, so we go to halftime, we all meet up again. Dale, you're a wonderful presence. You're a very grounding presence. You're very funny.
The funniest.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep, because I know what people could be going through at this time. When I did my first Phish show, we dropped our beans, did tab, and it was very open and warm but confusing and I wish I'd had someone there to be like to explain what was happening.
Right.
Let me go through that real quick. You get the seats assigned randomly when you do that lottery thing.
Yeah.
So we got put in this one section, 111 that night, and we've been told the thing that everyone there is, a hippie. They're used to this kind of stuff, so everything flies. So we were ready to do that. We dropped our beat and go in there. This guy comes up, buddy. He's like, hey, man, if you need anything tonight, acid, mushrooms, I'm your guy, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, no, we're fine. We're good.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And then he just kind of gets cold a little bit. We light a joint during first set, try to pass it around, and everyone's just like, no, thank you, which is we were not ready for.
Confusing for a Phish concert.
So we just smoking it ourselves and having a great time. And then after the show, I found out that I had randomly been assigned to the sober section of Phish fans who no longer partake, but still, but they've been to hundreds of shows and they love the atmosphere and the music. So they come and they all, even if they don't have tickets for that section, they move to that section to be together. I guess the unspoken rule is I was supposed to leave and go to a different section.
Oh, shit.
And I just didn't know that because I was like, these are my seats and no one's going to bother me here. We'll watch the show. So we just tripped balls in their faces. But they were the most experienced with from the past.
Yeah.
So also no better place to be for them to be explaining the weirdness of what's happening. Pull through, brother, it's gonna get good.
That was your first show?
Yeah, it was great.
See, I wish I had that because I wish I had stayed. Because we just walked, and the entire time we're walking, I'm telling Justin, I don't feel my hands. I'm not okay. This sounds amazing, dude. I think I'm dying, Justin. That sort of, but we meet up at intermission.
And then I'm like, okay, me and you go together.
Yes.
And instead of going back into the show, we just walked around. I texted my friend. I was like, hey, I got to be gone for a minute. And that was when I felt like things got really good. When we finally got together and we were able to just walk around and take in the experience on our own as friends.
Yes.
And instead of being in other people's lives that are like, this is great. And we love this. We were just walking around having a great time because we didn't know what to expect. Yeah.
Because it's our first, that's the thing. It was
both of y'all's first, but y'all weren't together.
Right.
Yeah.
And
in your heads, you were at Phish. You were going to Phish with each other.
Yeah.
Kind of. I thought we would be able to meet up a little bit more, but I think the first time doing it and really seeing not just the show, but the show itself. We're walking around and we start riffing immediately.
And it's so fun because you're seeing just such funny, strange people. We were walking by one dude and he's mad and he's talking to another dude. He's like, and I told her, I'm a grown man. I'm going to take a shower.
No. He said, going to try and tell me how many times I can shower?
And we're fucking dying, dude. We're walking around. We're just seeing the most random people. Because the other people that are walking around the show are kind of...
They're fucked up, too.
They're fucked up. They're space cadets. And... dude, I remember we start laughing super hard at something.
I know what we were laughing at.
What?
I said the thing about if I'm ever in a position of power. And you and I just started crying.
We're crying, laughing. And this dude with no teeth pops out from behind a curtain and goes, best feeling in the world.
I love when that happens.
I love it. And he just looks at us laughing. And I didn't want to be mean, but I was like, yeah, man. And I was like, I grabbed back. Like, let's go. And he was...
Did he pop out of a fold-out window?
No.
Black curtain.
We were walking on
We didn't realize there was a space in between. He just pops out. Best feeling in the world.
Love when that happens. Dude, and it's the only place I've ever been that fucked up and seen cops and been like, I am not worried about this at all.
We saw that lady hitting on a cop. And then you said something, you were like, everybody here is on acid.
Yeah.
And then we laughed our asses off at that.
Because I said that, and then immediately someone comes out and is like, I'm tripping too hard, or something like that.
You can also see, the culture of dudes that are, burned out from doing Phish too much. People just hanging out in the halls, fucking...
sitting down, talking to friends.
They've been to so many shows that they're stepping out to be that's not how they play this song.
Or they're like, Smitty, it's been a while. Good to see you.
It felt like, oh shit, all right, we're at a clubhouse function right now. We can take a break to talk to each other and shit.
Yeah.
But
dude, it also I remember
because a lot of those people
around,
they go all 4 shows, so they're like, I've got
Justin went.
Yeah.
All
I've got
4
40
nights.
more hours of this. I can walk
Dude,
around and meet up.
But
with
then I
buds.
remember we were walking with Justin, and he was like, "You guys want to come, Mike? You come with us." And we kind of come back to where my seats are, and we walked out, and I look up where Max was sitting, and it's.
So I just want to say, I was so excited at this moment because when Michael said he was going to come with us, I was like, I think I can get back in there, and I think if we can get to our seats, I really think I'm going to be able to make it through the rest of this show.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm excited. I've heard them for 2 hours. I'm like, they fucking sound great.
Mm-hmm.
But being around that many people and not really having somebody I can just like reach over and be like, this is great or this is not. I was like, we're going to do it. I got so excited. I was like, we're going to go see Phish, dude. We're going to see Phish.
And then I go up the initial stairs where you round the corner, and then you can see like it's a very steep seating. And all I see is just like this fucking 80-degree angle of stairs and just a mountain of people in a cloud of smoke. And I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, we are not going up
It's
there.
such a different vibe from the bridge where
Yeah.
you have all the
where
space.
you have all the space and you're separate and you nothing but space in the bridge. And I look up and I was like, oh my God, that was where you were?
When you
that
said
was where
that,
you were sitting?
You feel kind of cramped up in there.
But when you said that to me, it validated every second that had happened before.
I was like, absolutely not. We're not going up there. And then we left and walked around more. And then Justin came back. He was like, you want to try again? Let's try again. And I was like, all right, let's try again. We got there. We took 5 more steps than we did the other time. I was like, no,
No,
I'm not okay with this.
It sucks because it's like I wanted to see that show so bad, but it just wasn't going to happen there. And dude, I remember during Blaze On, and now I'm like so fucking into this band. Where I'm like, but I remember during Blaze On, we peeked through, and the lights are going like bum bum. Bum, bum, bum. And I remember being like, I have to fucking watch this, dude. This looks so cool. Justin was like, yeah, man, they're just going to be doing cool shit like this, like, all night, man.
Yeah.
It's just like constantly good music and good lights.
Yeah, man. And then I just could not hang in that environment with strangers like that. And
Which can happen to you, it turns on you.
I really wish I had gone with, and like, no, and I don't mean this.
So the
like,
important things is like, if you were to say to someone who's going to their first show,
yes,
go and sit with your close friend.
Well, not only that, if you can go for your first time with somebody else that's been there, like if you can go with a group of people, I think it's a lot of fun.
Right.
Going with one other person who's clearly like this is like their favorite thing to do, and I'm like brand new to it. I was so self-conscious about harshing Justin's vibe and also trying to like be okay. And that was what got to the fucking spiral out of it. Because if I was with, even if we had a third person there, I was like, we're going to be okay. But it was otherwise, just fucking go. It's the greatest band.
Yeah, because you were good when you were hanging out with us in a group between sets.
Yeah.
I was quiet and I was thinking a lot. I mostly was focusing on that picture of Tracy Morgan and Chris Rock.
Yeah.
But, man, when you're with a group of people, it's like, oh, yeah, I can hang, dude.
Dude, but it's a wild time. I remember I was walking back to my seats once we finally parted ways. I felt like you were okay. I was okay.
I was not okay, by the way, but I was like, I was better. I knew I could figure out how to get out of there at that point. But I was just like, I felt so bad that I was keeping everybody from the concert.
No, it was cool. I had a lot of fun walking around with you. I was like, this is way better. Because then I could actually like have my judgments about the place with you. And we were able to like have good laughs. And it is fun to walk that loop and just see shit.
I think, because you had said, like, can we just agree this is the most uncivilized group of white people? And I just went, ever. And we had to, like, lean on a wall. We were laughing so hard.
It was, I definitely want to go back. But, dude, I was going back to my seat, and there was a lady fucked up, and she was going down the up escalator past me.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, right on. Go ahead, get it. And she gets to the bottom, stumbles, and just fucking hits the bottom of the escalator hard, hits the ground, immediately jumps up, like, smiling. But there's a security guard that was there, and he looks at her hit the ground, and then looks up at me like I pushed her. And I'm just standing on the escalator looking down at him, but he keeps looking at her and then looking up at me, and I was just like, I just like scampered to my seat.
Dude,
you look down, there's like blue ink on your hands for some reason, and on her jacket.
Yeah.
You're the first person to get violent at a Phish
That's
show.
not what it looks like.
It was, man. Yeah, I remember being there, though, and thinking, like, the people that listened to Phish were, like, the cool kids at our high school.
Dude, well, differently cool. But before, just to, like, because I do want to keep showing this app and this song, because I do think this is, like, the coolest fucking thing a band has ever done. Can you throw on one more? Before Blaze On, what do they play right before Blaze On this one?
Slave to the Traffic Light.
Yeah, can you hit a little bit of that? Just to curate the vibe a little bit more. And while this is playing, Gail, can you explain the light show a bit and why it is so, like, integral to the show?
So the light show is...
Because I missed a lot of it.
It's operated by a guy named Chris Caruto. Probably mispronouncing that, but spelled with K's. He's the unofficial fifth member of the band. He operates this giant, like 8-track light rig that's kind of... You remember the spider from Wild Wild West?
Yeah.
That thing?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me when you're just looking at, like, when it's off and you see the arms and stuff. This thing has this giant range with the limbs. So they can...
The band the whole time.
Yeah, he tours with them regularly.
Yeah.
So, like, it's one guy doing it, which is why he's the fifth member. It's not like they go to a...
Just pause it.
Oh, pause it.
Yeah.
It's not like they go to, like, a stadium and use their... sound guy. They're a professional live touring group. They don't put out a lot of albums. That's why they're not all over Spotify and mostly on this app.
Yeah.
They trade the live shows. So it's such a honed machine that, like, you can't just, like, give the reins to someone else in another area.
Yeah.
He goes with them when they write a song. He's like, oh, and I think we can do like a, blast everyone in the face with this one right at that moment.
Yeah.
So he's like listening to the song because it's improvised jams and stuff, and he has to know
he knows
when they're going to cut into like the main riff, and he can do this light show thing that he's written for it. And it is just insane. Like, you watch it, and this sounds stupid, but like I feel like other bands skimp on the color budget, and Phish, they spend as much money as they possibly can on colors.
Well, it's cool because, like...
Is that the yellowest it can be?
I asked you this because there's another band that, like, I've seen kind of like Phish. I've seen them 6 times. Godspeed You Black Emperor. Mm-hmm. They have a projectionist instead of a lights guy. So they've got this guy that's operating like 6 old, like 100-year-old film projectors onto these screens, and he's constantly fucking with what each is playing at a time and shit. And they do consider that part of the show and like another band member at the time. And I always thought that was cool until I saw Phish. And I was like, oh, what the fuck are you doing, Godspeed?
Just playing 6 movies?
Yeah, cute. This is cute, dude. Yeah. Phish is creating a whole other world right now.
It is insane.
It's nuts.
The lights, like, they have them hidden throughout the stadium, so at different angles, so you can like see, they can flood the whole floor with yellow and then beams of green cutting through it, but it's never blends.
I also like at big hot moments they have these giant, basically spotlights, just big, bright white lights that when they bring you up to that final, like, babe,
the peaks.
Yeah, the peaks. They fucking blast you with light. It's crazy.
So, what did you think of the music, Michael? Because, like, we've talked a lot about the show.
I was really absorbed in it when I was watching the second half that I saw. It was great, man. It's like so fun.
Have you listened to it at all since the show ended?
No, it's definitely it's a live show I want to go back to, but I haven't listened to it a lot. Though it would be great to listen to. You can do stuff to Phish music.
Well,
you can work to
not
Phish
only
music.
that, I love the fucking culture around it. Now that because like we talk about the kids in high school that were cool or whatever that listen to Phish. So did you probably had them too? Like at your high school, the hippie kids that were just like...
It was my cousin. She's the one...
Oh, really?
The one who got me into this. She's followed them around for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And we just made fun of her for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, ew, what are you doing?
We used to make fun of kids in high school for this all the time. Just like, dog, you're wearing cargo shorts and like fucking, tie-dye shirt, a
necklace.
hemp necklace. It's like, what the fuck are you talking? And you really think it's about, like, they're trying to be hippies. It's like, no, dude, they're just into Phish.
They've been sucked in. Like, it's, honestly, I say all this, but I am glad that I did not get into them.
Oh, yeah.
Until I was in my 30s. This would ruin me.
Dude, this would have killed me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, like, especially when I was, like, working in a restaurant and flush with cash, it's like, oh, yeah.
The culture of that band has definitely taken some people out.
Absolutely. But it's also what I do like about the culture of it. I like that there is a community around the band where they're, like, before the app or whatever, before internet, it was literally trading tapes of shows back and forth.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool because they don't put out a lot of records. They don't put out a lot of recorded, like, originals that aren't live. It's all just different versions, and that's why they don't get the Spotify counts and shit like that. But
they have their own app for their listeners and shit.
It's cool.
Which is pretty incredible.
Because, like, I have thoughts about that on not Godspeed. They don't really release live shit. But, dude, you know who my Phish is? I've said this publicly many times. My Phish has always been Coheed and Cambria, dude. I've seen them, like, legitimately 22 times.
Really?
Yeah, dog.
They're great.
Yes.
And they're great. They're a great live band. They do
what's called the Never Ender, where they'll do. So I saw it. They had 5 albums out at the time. They did 5 nights where they played the full album every night, and it was the fucking coolest thing. And those have become like versions of the song that I like better than the originals and shit. And I see that with Phish, and I'm like, this is so fucking rad.
It's so weird that bands don't put out more live albums.
Well, I like the way Phish does it because they're not releasing them as live albums. They release them as shows that all of them get released. And I think that's so fucking sick.
But there's huge chunks of their catalog that have been around for decades and have never been on an actual album.
Yeah.
Do you have something on the second set that's kind of like that? Or do you have one that you think
I'm still learning so much.
Yeah. But are there any songs in that second set where you have, like, strong opinions on different live versions?
Everything's Right is one of my favorites.
Let's play it.
It appeared in the second. It was in the songs that are special to me were the ones that I heard at my first show, and that sucked me in.
Fluffhead and David Bowie are forever going to be like those songs for me, I feel like.
Let's fast forward a little bit in.
Yeah.
This one, this is like classic hippie rock, just positivity.
Right.
It's great. It's got like 7 different peak moments. They always do a 10-minute jam.
So tell us, so you know, I don't want to harp too hard on just like me having a horrible. You can pause it, and you don't have to fuck with the volume. I can do that all in post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I keep trying to like.
No, you're fine, dude. I
fade the
appreciate it,
button.
and I love your I love your instincts, man. It's good to see somebody else thinking ahead. You don't fucking have to.
All right.
No, but I really like. I understand I had a horrible experience that I really want to rectify and see. But, like, could you tell us about New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve.
And before you do, I do want to go back next year, the 3 of us. I do think...
Oh, yeah.
I think we should do, if we can remember, at least one part of the show should be doing a lap around MSG and seeing everybody, dude, because it's wild. It's fun. I think that made it so much better. Just to see everybody else having a good time. Oh, fuck, Michael, you don't even have headphones. I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't heard any of this.
You haven't heard
No, it's all right.
You'll hear it.
I heard a lot of it live.
It's so sick. But yeah, can you tell us about New Year's Eve? I know that's their big fucking show.
Right. That's how we got, tricked into loving Phish originally.
Do you know about the gags?
Yeah.
Okay.
My cousin, she got us tickets to it. Phish, every show they play, they do 2 sets, about an hour and a half to 2 hours each.
Because one isn't enough.
One is never enough. Nobody opens for Phish because nobody can
You can't open for Phish.
You could see your favorite band, and then Phish comes on, and you're like, I'm never listening to those jokes again.
Yeah.
So they do 2 full sets, and it's a 4-hour concert. It's huge, and it's never enough. So once a year, New Year's, they do a 3rd set.
Bum, bum, bum.
They invest, they put like, millions of dollars into the gag, and I've seen 3 of them now. The first one was in 2019, and they had like 200 clones of themselves come out on stage.
What, like just doppelganger? Like people that got dressed up?
Exact lookalikes of the 4 members dressed as them, and then they faded into it. the 4 members then appeared on 4 individual floating platforms, which kind of remind me of like 2000s Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
At the VMAs.
I saw them come out, dude. When I saw them live, they were on surfboards on strings.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So it reminded me of that, and they're going up independently, and they're still rocking all night on those.
Dude.
Trey's break, the guitarist, main lead singer, his platform breaks halfway through the show, and so it can never be lowered again. So the show ends, and the other 3 band members leave, and Trey is just suspended above the crowd, and he's like, "All right, that's the end of the show. We need y'all to leave so we can get the rescue squad in here." Like, no one's leaving because they want to watch Trey just be stuck up there.
Yeah.
His guitar still works, so he starts like fiddling around, and he writes a song about being stuck up there and about the rescue squad coming to save him. And so because he's up there with a guitar, it's recorded, and that song got released and became canon in Phish, the Rescue Squad song. So that was my first show. That was the first gag.
That's real?
Wow.
Wait, yeah. I thought that it was going to be some... So how...
He was stuck up there for like an extra hour.
That
or
rips.
so, just kind of jamming and riffing, and no one would leave.
Did the other band join him?
No, they were done. They had just played for like 7 hours straight.
Yeah.
And they went back to have more drinks. It was the best.
That rips.
That was the first one. The second one got postponed because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we went and saw it in April. And the gag there was the stage they were on rose up and became a pyramid that was a screen that they turned into the ocean. And they filled Madison Square Garden with smoke. And then you see these laser lights of dolphins swimming through the smoke. You're like, all right, that's pretty cool. And then those lasers become real, just real 3D dolphins. And you're just blown away.
Yeah.
Then behind them, a life-size blue whale comes flying through the sky. And they're playing a song about whales and dolphins, and it is just the most magical thing in the world. Kelp descends from the top of Madison Square Garden, and then they fill the stadium with bubbles. So you are underwater. You feel in the ocean while they play the song about the ocean.
Dude.
It was the coolest thing ever.
Where were you sitting for that one?
For that one, we were down beside the band, Page side, the guitar or the keyboard's name is Page. Page side, Rage side. So we were watching it from that, and it was amazing.
I'm sorry. Page side, Rage side?
Yeah, so you can either be on Mike's side, the bassist, or Page's side, the keyboardists.
So what's the Rage about?
Just where you just go to let it out.
What's up with Mike's side?
Yeah, is he
Mike's
an angry
side's
dude?
chill. No, he's chill.
Yeah,
he's
Mike
chill.
doesn't
He
move
gets
a lot.
funky as hell.
Yeah, I see
it's
that
a
man's
funky.
head
It's a
work.
funky groove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So
Man, that sounds so fucking
so
cool.
what was the other nights?
So then it was so cool. It was the 40th anniversary of Phish, so they had a telegram delivered to them live on stage for the third set, where they got to make a wish, a birthday wish, and they wished for a time machine to do it all again.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it, a fucking time machine lowers from the top
Get
of Madison
the
Square
fuck
Garden.
out of town.
They bring out a giant lever switch and they throw it, and it takes us through time and shows us Phish's career highlights and stuff, and then a recreation of each New Year's gag.
Yeah.
A piece of it came out for like this 45-minute jam that they did. So they just recreated them all up into a platform descended from the ceiling to show a stranded Trey Anastasio.
Yeah.
No
which
way.
was the first gag I ever saw.
Yeah.
And that guy was a clone, takes off his mask, and it's Tom Hanks.
Oh.
And our minds are blown. We're like, what the hell is Tom Hanks doing on a platform for Phish? It's a very, very convincing Tom Hanks impersonator.
Okay.
Because then they go into their song Wilson. And Tom Hanks starts throwing out Wilson volleyballs to the crowd from the platform. These oversized Wilsons. It was the coolest thing ever.
What the fuck?
They have a giant cake that comes out, and the top explodes, and about 40 dudes crawl out of the cake, called the Naked Man.
Uh-huh.
These are all gags that I still don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
I have been watching YouTube videos and reading old blog posts to be like, oh, that's from 95, the Naked Man. He turned all the cops in the building into naked men, like a cult thing. And it was just a trippy show.
Were they all naked?
It's a naked man
suits.
costume.
Oh,
so,
okay,
like, they're
okay.
super hairy and everything, but there's no genitalia. 'cause
Okay.
There's kids that come to these shows sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
I saw a dad with his kids.
Yeah, it's mostly dads bringing the kid.
Yeah.
They're like, I'll show you why I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, really getting it back on track after the divorce.
It's a divorced dad move for sure.
But if he is divorced, his ex-wife is also there. Sitting in like a separate row, like, oh, fuck, section 209.
Yeah.
Nothing but assholes in that section.
That's amazing, dude. Well, shit. Can you play us one from New Year's Eve and then maybe take us to that last song on New Year's Eve?
Here we go. This was...
I mean, all in all, though, I'm dying to go back. I really, yeah.
They did a lot of covers. They did Bohemian Rhapsody, I can never gonna pronounce that right. Jungle Boogie.
Oh, cool.
Oh shit, that sounds great.
Damn.
I've heard this song before.
I think they teased Tube at the show we were at.
This is very fucking cool, man. I would have loved to have seen this. I can't wait to get it.
It's just so hard to pick a time for it. 'Cause 9-minute song, so there's like 6 different parts that sound nothing alike.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
This song ends with just the face melting. And you have no idea where to cue it up.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, let's pause it. But
Dude, yeah, it's very fun to see live.
I really, I'm excited to go back, dude, and I'm excited to handle it like an adult. I'm excited not to be a fucking lunatic. I'm glad that I got to experience the 20, 30 minutes we did.
Yep.
Because there were some moments where I watched you hug a pillar.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, we had some like good fucking laughs.
We had some great laughs. Absolutely.
I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think next year I might dress up a little bit like you did.
And I still owe you a life-saving concert, so...
If you want to, I would like legitimately, that would be a treat.
Less than Jake's coming back.
No.
just kidding.
Take me to Phish, dude.
For sure.
Let's go to Hershey. That'll be a fucking podcast a trip.
Yeah.
We're going.
Truly in the van.
Let's get in the van. Let's go to Hershey, Pennsylvania. We'll do that. We'll have a good fucking time. We'll get Adam in on it. Adam's into Phish now. This is great. Phish. We're Phish fans of the pod, dude.
Hell yeah.
Well, hell.
Well, hell, me and Dale want to try and do a little jam.
Yeah, I would love that. Do you mind if we smoke another joint?
Go for it.
I want to see y'all zip zap. Oh, let me just get you set up. All right, are you using that mic still? This one?
No.
Hell yeah, dude.
Went out to the Phish show with my buddy. Sat separately so we could see some things. Oh, it's going bad. I ain't got my buddies. Watching Phish and thinking about my imminent death. Then I find at halftime my buddies having the same time. So we go walking around MSG that night. We hear all types of freaky conversations. Oh yeah, and we see a man look like a master spinner. Yeah, and then I got too hot at the Phish show. Yeah, I got too hot with my boy. Yeah, I got too high at the Phish show. Hugging pillars, running from the cops in my mind. Now we go looking about going into the crowd again, but it looked like a wave that'll swallow me alive. So we keep on walking, listening to the Phish show in the background while we talk about how we want gonna change our lives. So too high at the Phishcal. We are too high. Yeah, watching Trey Anastasio. Oh yeah, too high at the Phishcal. But that's alright. We'll be back at MSG next year.
Level 1 was nice, but 2 was tough. I could not hang up there. I had too much tabs before the show. Too much tabs before the show. Well, the lights look nice, but the music's loud, and I got scared 'cause I tapped too much. Damn. Next year will be better 'cause I like Phish now, and going to a concert's better when you like the band. Oh yeah, maybe next year I'll do 1/8 of a tab instead of a half. That was a tab too much. Oh, too much tab with the Phish show. Too much tabs at the damn Phish show. But now I'm a fan that's with the P and H. No F for me. Thanks, I'll walk myself home. I'm not taking the F train.
Take the PA train now.
All right.
Dale, you keep playing us out.
Michael, you want to plug the show?
Yeah, February 16th, watch Animal Control on Fox.
January 20th, I'm doing a Crown Plaza Hotel in Annapolis, Maryland.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and then January 26th through 31st, I'm at the Laughing Skull
Nice.
in Atlanta. I'd love to see you. And April 6th and 9th, keep it in your calendars. We're doing a live podcast in Bloomington, Indiana at the Fire Tower Podcast Festival.
That's right, Dale. You got anything you want to plug?
December 31st, 2023, we'll be at Madison Square Garden.
Phish!
Yeah.
I'm doing it
Together
next
at
year.
last.
I'm putting
Together
it down right now.
It's in the calendar. Play us out, Dale.
Oh, shit, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a podcast.
That
baby.
is a podcast.